Yo!
Hey, it's Greg here. In this video, we're going to be installing the Hellwig Frame FX Frame Strengthening Kit on my 70 Chevelle. I've already done some, so I'll be inserting some pieces here and there that have already been done, and you may notice that, but I'll try to keep it in order, general order of what you want to do them in, at least per the instructions order. Something like that. All right, let's get going. Per the instructions for the kit, Hellwig kit, you cut it across here, and then you weaken this weld. Then you use pliers to work it loose, and that you can do that, not a problem. I'm actually going to do it slightly different. I'm not going to make this cut. Grinding this. The welds on these things are so bad. And I hardly ground it at all. Now I'm just going to grind it smooth. Well, it's semi level. Okay, so now wire brush, wire wheel in there, get all that rust out of there, anything loose. I don't know if you can really read that, but with the kit you get printed instructions. I highly recommend you get download the PDF as well, because the PDF pictures are a lot more discernible. You can see them a lot better when you get into where to weld and place pieces. You know, a printer, well, they're not necessarily the easiest to see contrast. All right, so I have measured mine 52 3/8 across your front motor mount center of the hole. 52 3/8, that's factory. The rear ones here, that's the ones underneath the passenger seat, 48.5. Mine are right there. The middle one should be 53. This is the one that's going to be off. I'm just telling you, it's going to be off on your car. It's guaranteed. They will all spread. It's just C-channel, and they will go bing, they'll bow. If you've watched my videos, you know mine did, especially if it's used to drag race it or something. And then you got your diagonals squared. Those have to be squared. So I had already, and yeah, another one of my hats back from the 90s that I found, well worn. So when you start straightening, you have to straighten the frame here. It is guaranteed that someone has jacked it up from here on here, which they shouldn't have done. Who knew? And it will have bent this all up. Mine was bent way up, and when I straightened it back down, it bowed it back out. It's only 3/8 of an inch out, and it's almost all on this side. So I will be using the bottle jack and chain trick that I did on a previous video. The way to straighten the frame, if I haven't already showed you, use the largest adjustable wrench you have, starting from the best spot. Work your way towards the worst spot, little tiny bites, and that is the best way I found of doing it. So this piece will go here, and by the way, the frame comes up here, then across, and it does it on both sides. Leave that in. Don't try to straighten that out. You actually need that in. This is your transition. Like this. And you'll weld this right here. And then this, like so. So the bottom plate goes on the bottom, but on the ends, it welds to the actual boxed area. So leave that in, same with the back. This one's the same. And you may have to do some trimming, some fitting to get it to fit just right. But that's how it'll go. So I got mine pretty straight. Mine was quite mangled. So one thing you're gonna run into is on the front top piece. So you go like so. So you have an option. This piece comes up, and remember how I just told you, so on the bottom, like I just told you, you want to keep those bends in it at each end. But on the top, you don't have those. You have a choice for this top front one. You can have it come up, leave it as is, and this side comes up. So you can put it on like so. Aesthetically, if anyone gets underneath the car, they'll notice the difference. It comes up there. However, you have a little more strength that way. You can, for aesthetics, knock this end down with said hammer so that it is level with this. I mean, it doesn't technically have to be level, but the idea is to make it level like this so that they both look identical. And looking at my other side, this may become a moot point for me because on my other side, it looks like it's already bent down some right here. So I'm thinking I'm going to hammer that down on both sides. And yeah, that's literally take the hammer, bam, bam, bam. Sorry, that was probably really loud. And until it's, and you can try this a little bit, but until it's even. And do this before you do your straightening, because it's bound to make it all cattywampus. Ooh. I'm gonna need some earplugs. Okay, let's see what we can do. Yeah, I need a better straight edge. All right, you can start this time, GoPro? Okay. This moves easier than you think. we're not. We're getting really close. You probably have a terrible angle for this. Ah, don't hit my head again. I'm going to have to notch this slightly doing this. This is longer than this because of frame variances. But I think we're pretty good there. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, that one turned out much easier, much nicer, I think, too. One thing to be aware of, if your frame is sitting on jack stands, it's going to bounce a little. Make sure it doesn't bounce off your jack stands. And yes, I have a level, and I'm checking it compared the whole way, and it's staying pretty consistent. Now, obviously, this isn't flat, so there, look, it's way off. All right, I've been talking and camera didn't start. Oh, GoPro, come on, bro. All right, tape measure's in place. It's at 53.25. Now there's probably some tension already on it. Right in the center. Right in the center, 53.25. So it's actually really close. But I do know, because of the level, 4 foot basically straight edge, that this side is the one that's bent out. Otherwise, I would squeeze them together. So, bottle jack's in place. Now I do have, if you saw my video doing this before, I do have a chain here. If it breaks, if one of the bolts break or the chain breaks, this will hold the chain against the frame and limit its travel. I got the chain over that I used on this side is already, that's up on the, holding the car up, because since I'm getting ready to lower the body again. So this one doesn't have one. So if this one breaks, it'll go whap right into the rear end. But these are grade 8 bolts, so I don't anticipate issues. Famous last words? Maybe. But I do need to go a little farther than 53. And I can actually watch the end of the tape measure, see it's moving. Okay, well, it did move a little bit. It's now 53. It's perfect, but it's going to come back out some. It's probably another quarter. And it looks quite straight now. Let me show you. That looks pretty straight. Now that's obviously less than 53. There's that one. That was nice and straight. The reason, I should point out, the reason I'm straightening this now is because I gotta put in the second body mounts for those locations. So 7 inches in from the frame, there'll be another body mount. And I want it to be at 53 when I weld those in so that they're correct. 52 and a half. 52 and a half. Gotta be pretty close. Always watch that end. Do this at your own risk. All right, let's let it, bring it back, see where we're at. Always keep an eye on those bolts, washers. So the tape measure is at 53. Okay, I can already tell you it didn't go far enough. Oh, so close. We're actually really close. Do it again, just a little farther. Just trial and error until you get it. Just don't go too far. 53 is right in the middle. Looks like 53. Okay, I think we're good. I gotta take all the tension off just to be sure it doesn't come back out. All right, hopefully Murphy will leave me alone for a minute here today. Wow. So we have an 1/8 inch octagonal plate with a nutsert through it. This fits perfectly in, I believe it's a 5/8 hole that is 7 inches from where the frame would be if it was here. And your car's gonna either have one there or it won't. Mine does. So I used a flap disc and removed all the gook from underneath it. Yuck. And then I hit it with weld through primer. Now I'm going to attempt to weld this in from my back, which if you've ever welded on your back, you know it sucks. I want to use this. Yeah, that'll work. And I set this just shy of the 1/8 inch setting on the welder because this brace, it's not an 1/8 inch. And then just tack it. That was terrible. What you want to do is get it, heat the plate, the thicker metal first, and then drag it to the thinner metal. Yeah, I think that it was ground. I think the ground, it wasn't really grounding on that plate. But now that it's welded in, it should be grounded. Well, that is it's tacked on. The welding was pretty bad. One right there. Ah, crap. Oh. No idea. I thought this shirt would be this cotton t-shirt would be good enough. It's not. A piece landed on me in 2 places, burnt through the shirt and onto me. Yep, I have a welding blanket on me. Gotta do what you gotta do. And I added a light. I turned it up, the welder up just slightly, because it wasn't quite as strong as I'd like it. Okay. Go away, Murphy. That's right. I just can't see out of my helmet. It's fogging up. Seriously. Murphy's just kicking my butt. Murphy is kicking my butt today. I know it's horribly humid. Alright. Okay. So I'm just gonna start welding around slowly. I don't want to put too much heat into the floorboard, because well, that's an 1/8 inch. That's, I don't know, 18 gauge. So let's keep working around it. Hey, it's Greg here. It's the next day. So this is like the it's not high enough for me to set up, obviously, and it's not low enough for me to reach, kind of laying down at an angle. I mean, I guess it is, yeah, see, I'm not laying down. I have to be halfway. So yeah, I about got heat exhaustion yesterday doing this. It was so hot, and I was so I had sweat so much doing the frame and everything. I don't want this wears you out. Working like I am right here just wears you out, so be aware of that, especially if it's hot and super humid. So I actually got burns here and up here where it had burned through, and the little molten hot metal pieces rolled down. I'm sitting there trying to put the fire out, and it's just pressing it into my skin and burning. Okay, so I have this welding blanket instead. It's a felt, and to be honest, it's just as hot. It's just a little smaller. I don't know if I showed you this at the end. I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I was almost got heat exhaustion. So there it is. That's the one. Yeah, I know it's ugly welds. There's the other one. But just gonna finish welding. Your neck muscles gonna get super sore. I'll get dehydrated. And I'm doing it more to the side now, so it doesn't drain right on me. All right, I'm hoping this will show properly. So you got your body bushing. It'll go here, and it is almost the total width of this plate. So you have to grind that down, or your body bushing is gonna not fit right. And this will go here, and it does have some room. So using a flap wheel, oh, this is gonna be nasty. I am wearing a face shield. You can't see it. I'm wearing a face shield because grit and stuff is gonna come off. Try to avoid hitting the center. And this will get hot. So don't let it get too hot, then Alright, it still needs more. There's my horrible welds, but I have a grinder. I'm going to switch to the other side though. Let this one cool down. Oh, there it is. It's kind of ugly. And kind of ugly, but it'll work. It's hard to actually do a how-to video when you're multitasking. Okay, I finally caught up to where I was hoping to be yesterday. And I got the inserts welded in on the body, as you saw. I also got the second coat of the 415 clone there inside the C channels. One quick thing, this stuff, you gotta use mineral spirits to clean the brushes. Lacquer thinner, paint thinner. If you put it in water first, it's gonna set. Yeah, who would have thought? Yeah, no, that's how it works. All right, next step for the frame. It's gonna be cutting right here, welding a piece in, but it's lunchtime. So next step, I use a straight edge to draw a very poor line. I'm gonna cut this off right here on both sides. Now, I have treated, in case you can't tell, the inside of this. All right, I'm gonna cut, hopefully, on the outside edge. So I can always take some off. Push. I put it in the wrong place. I need to go this direction. But I don't have a lot of room to back up. Yeah, I'm glad I cut on the outside of that line. I think that's fairly good. And that'll go right there. I have to trim it just a tad. It'd be interesting to look up under there to see what the rust encapsulator does. And just to be clear, 415 and stuff is a rust encapsulator. That's why you actually should treat the rust before putting it on. That's a whole other video. Yeah, somehow I managed to put both of those spots right underneath where the quarter panels are sticking out. The right side, I got the plate standing here. I have it level. I did test the level, make sure that it was good. And it is, the frame's level and this level is level and this plate's level, and there's actually like almost no extra on this side. Alright, so what I'm going to do, since it's so little, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to clean, I already cleaned that a little bit. I'm going to clean this, and this on the bottom, up here on the top, right in here, and I'm going to tack it. Ding, 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 ding. And get that going. And then I'm just going to grind this off the top because there's just, it'd be easier just to grind it on the top, I think, than cutting. That's the plan. Removed all the mill scale and everything. I used the Seymour weld through primer, gray. It's just what I use. I got it everywhere. I tried to put a little bevel where needed so that the weld hopefully will get in better, and that'll go like so. I think I can just grind it down. I think that's easier than cutting it. at least on this side. All right, it's gonna be right there. Alright, perfect. Really picks up the grinding ground metal. Okay. The tack actually right here. Okay, just a little tack. Did I even get it? Nope. There we go. Okay, perfect. I'm trying to decide if I want to tack it right there before grinding it down. I'm thinking maybe that's the move. All right, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. You wouldn't know it, but all right, it ain't going anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grind this down to the level of the frame. Third time the charm. Okay. Ah, I love my GoPro. All right, so I got it in place. Grinding it was a real pain. I did try to cut a little groove here so it'll fill in. Now I got to put like a half inch here, and fill this in all the way. And it is hot. Oh, is it hot? Oh man. Oh, that was sad. I'm not a welder. I am a welder. I'm welded. That was horrible. Yo! Alright, don't weld on your finger, even if you're wearing a glove. Alright, you may want to cut that out. That was terrible. So glue through there. That was I think I held it down too long at the end on that one. Sounds alright. Guess I can't blame the welder, I gotta blame myself. It sounds like it's at a good setting. Because it sounds like it's at a good setting. Alright, now I do need to cut. So this one I drew the line. I could probably cut a 1/4 inch off the bottom and be good. May still have to may still have to grind some. On the top. Alright, somewhere like that. I think I'll just use a cutting wheel for that. Alright, I cut this piece down with a cutting wheel. Let this cool just a little bit. Okay. I tend to weld like I do body panels. Probably could weld more than what I'm doing. Actually, I know I can. Piece right in the middle there. Without warping this thicker metal. Need a little more of that on the back side there, I think. Now, back to this side. Woo, that is still hot. No, that's still hot. Okay, you probably can't tell anything from that angle, but it sticks up a little here. Still, I could have cut it a little more, except right here it would have been too low. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side that I did on the other side. I'll just have less to grind. Alright, so I'm working on this one. And I did have to use a clamp. Try to push it in just a little bit on the top. Perfect. Almost perfect. Really close. And this one I cut the bottom off, and then I did grind, before I put it on, I did grind this down to fit better. Now there's a pretty good gap right here and here. So I have to work on that. And the bottom actually is just over halfway in on the rail. That one is almost completely in, as opposed to the other side that was almost identical, almost lined up perfectly with it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish welding both sides, and I'm not going to bore you with that. Okay, they're in. I even cleaned them up a little bit. Not a whole lot, a little bit. Okay, so right side. There you are. That one's in. And we'll come over here to the left side. And that one's in. Hopefully they're good. They are vertical, like they're supposed to be. And next, so next is the fun part. This is what makes this kit, in my opinion, the one to go with, and that is for the extra body mounts. And they go right here on both sides, and you gotta put them in under the body where I welded in those two body mount locations, those new ones. We're gonna take and put these on those with the body mounts. We got to lift the body up, pull the card out, and somehow get the frame under it and back on the body. Yeah, that'll be fun. If you had a lift, this would not be that bad. This wouldn't be that bad at all. However, I don't have a lift. Alright, what seems like just seconds was actually a good couple of weeks. Been crazy busy. And I'm trying to decide how much I really want to video, because it really slows me down. Anyway, got the body lifted back up and trying to pull this thing out. And it's funny, I had a dream the other night that there where the fender bolts on at the front lower corner, that it was rusted out, and I didn't notice it until then, and I thought it was real. I just checked it, and no, it's good. Stress much? Okay, now I gotta get the frame back under it. Plumb bobs in 2 spots to try to line it up. Then lower the body, and it'll may have moved a little, we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna show a whole lot of me doing it. Okay, so we have the front on the board across jack stands. I used the plumb bob to try to get that close. Now when we raise the back, and it is pretty close, but when we raise the back, that's going to move a little, should move forward, and we'll have to line it up with the back. Now, this is not safe. Don't do what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is not how to do it. This is how I do it. And no, this is not safe. I highly recommend against it. Okay, so now we're going to do the back. Okay, the frame is centered. Use plumb bobs on all 4 corners. And you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe it. The holes don't all line up completely centered. Oh! Ah! How can that be? Yeah. Now, 2 reasons. One, the body or the frame is slightly, I think it's the body, the front is actually higher than the back, but marginal. And just quite frankly, the tolerances are extreme. So if yours doesn't line up, yeah, don't panic. Let's get it close. So next step, I'm going to put the body mounts in place and lower the body onto the frame just barely so I can screw in the body mounts. Body mounts are in place. Start lowering the car. The best laid plans. I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes it doesn't work for you. Don't do what I'm doing. Okay, so this body mount is in. Okay, this one is down. You gotta make sure that this little, there's this, the piece on the body has to fit in to the hole of the mount. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna say you're gonna have problems, but it ain't right. Be very careful doing what I'm doing here. This is not safe. Get this back one while I'm under here. That looks fine. Alright. Hopefully there's no spiders or snakes back in there. These right here, I'm going to try to show you. On these A bodies, at least most of them, all of them that I know of, don't have a bolt through them. They're a locator pin, basically, that goes onto the bushing. You've got to make sure that those are in the bushing. That's what I was trying to say earlier, and that can be a challenge. So I just used a screwdriver. I don't think I can really show you very well, but I used a screwdriver to try to locate it. I got the body just right, barely touching them, and then I used a screwed flathead around the edge to force the bushing to fit around it. So that's that. The weight of the car is fully on the boards, and the body mounts are bolted in, torqued. Now, yes, I still have the chain lift and the cherry picker connected just to make sure the body didn't fall. If the frame did fall off the jacks, the body wouldn't come with it. It would hurt just with the frame. I mean, it could be deadly. Again, this is what I'm doing. This is not the right way to do it. This is how I'm doing it. Okay. Whew. But yeah. Wow. And it's gotten really hot. But you see they're bolted in. I did my best to get it centered. So the body bushings will go, this will be up to the frame, this will be down, this has to go through here, and it won't go in, so could not get it in. So what I ended up doing, I hope you can tell, took a grinder and put a little edge, just took off the corner here. Now I have this. It worked on the other one. There it goes. Into here, and you'll want to do it on this one. Then this one will go like so, and yes, you're gonna have to knock it up into this one, but this is a slightly bigger hole, it seems like, than this one. I actually was able to push it through this one without using the hammer. Just so you know, it'll look like, well, big washer, and that'll go in like so. Alright, so I ground all the mill slag and everything off of the brace. One good weld, make sure you get rid of it. And I should have did this when it was off. Yeah, I can probably just barely get it. It's actually pretty wide, so. All right, so next we have this. And actually, you can put this in before, there, like so. So now the sleeve's in there. It is sticking out a little on the bottom. There we go. Ugh. Ooh, that's hard on your fingers. And I'm an idiot. I got that backwards. I had it right. I had it, and now it's. Okay, do over. All right, let's try this again. And let me mention something here. It says to center it. Well, mine is all the way in on this side. On the other side, it's like a 1/4 inch at most in. So, in order to actually center that, so basically my point is, you're gonna either have to, there's a good chance you're gonna either have to trim this so that it goes in farther, or cut this out a little more, depending on your frame and body. That's just the way they are. Okay, with it going the right direction this time, see if I can, in fact, yeah, I didn't think so. It's a little awkward here. In fact, that's pretty silly hammering it up like that. There. And these are grade 8. So it'll go like so. I see a couple little holes I'll probably want to fill in my welding. Or you can like seam sealer them. I'll probably try to weld them up a little better. Okay. Of course, my wrench isn't down here. All right, and these are 9/16, not 5/8 like the others. You're gonna want to torque it. Like so. Alright, I'm not real happy with where that ended up. Let me do this different. Huh. All right. These are not touching. Right here and here. They're not actually touching. Which, it's not a big deal. This is where it needs to be. Okay, so that one's there. We'll put a 1/2 inch tack here, over here. And I can put one there. This one I can't actually do. It's too far away. All right, don't make fun of my welds. That was actually really hard. Welding upside down is a challenge for me. And yes, I did start from the bottom and work up, and as you can see, that one's in. So now they're both tacked in place. I'm gonna take the bolts out because next step, we got to pull the body back off the frame so that we can weld the rest of the pieces on the frame. So something interesting I wanted to show you. This is the driver's side, and you'll notice this is all the way to the outside. Let's go over here to the passenger side, and it's almost all the way to the inside. So bear that in mind when you go and squeeze them in. So I was pretty sure I had the body pretty centered on the frame, but you know, with these C-channels, I mean, they're just really flimsy and they can bow out or in. So I think I'm gonna want this one to come in more than this one when I tighten it, if I can do that. Next step, so I flip the frame over, and you got these angled pieces, and they will go in like so. Tack them right there, then I'll flip the frame over and tack the top piece. They are primered, weld through primer on the inside. And a couple things here that I want to mention. One, this one was really tight. I had to use a hammer to get it in. Also, if you remember, so that one, when well, hopefully it's just a couple minutes ago, tacked that one in. That one was too high, so I couldn't tack it. So I'm going to tack right there and get both of them at the same time right there, and I'll be back when it's done. All right, so I have tacked them. So what you want to do is square this to the plate, which for me, there's a little gap there. There's one on the other side as well, but it is very square and it is lined up on the bottom. I don't know that you can't, but it is lined up on the bottom. So that's what I did. And on the other side, like I said, it's the same thing. And I did not tack it to the plate. I only tacked it to that, at least for now. I'm thinking at some point I will be welding those fully, but I haven't got there yet. All right, this is a pretty good stopping place. This is a long project. I read somewhere where someone said you could do this in 6 to 8 hours. Yet no. Especially for a first time doing it, DIY guy. So nights and weekends, not every night and not every day on the weekend. It's been at least a month. I'd have to go back and look at the dates of my videos to see exactly when I started, and I'll try to remember to do that for the next one. But you can do it if you follow instructions and, you know, watch my video, get some tips and tricks on doing it, and actually see it being done in detail, which is the goal of what I do. I want you to be able to watch my video and then be able to go and do it with very minimal steps or pieces missing. I try to include it all without, you know, making it too redundant or, you know, boring. I guess I missed the boring part. But yes, it is actually finished except for the transmission mounts, cross member mounts. So verse of the video is going to be Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 through 27. This is Jesus giving the Sermon on the Mount. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them may be compared to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house. And yet it did not fall, for it had been founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and slammed against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. A couple key things. I always encourage you to read your Bible. Read it for yourself, because 90% of people out there who are preaching to you on television and all that, guess what? They're not telling you the whole truth. Let's just look here, all right? Jesus speaking, he who hears these words and believes them will stand on the rock. That's not what it says. It says, whoever hears these words of mine and acts on them. Acts on them. Yes, you got to believe, but it's got to be an active belief. An active belief. You got to act on them. And, you know, just like I'm strengthening this frame. This frame is the foundation for the Chevelle, which is going to have at least, Lord willing, 600 horsepower, if not more. It has to have a strong foundation or it's going to crumble. Our lives, the real world, we got to have a strong foundation, and that foundation, if it's Jesus, will be strong because it's built on the rock. The rock is Jesus. The rock is Jesus. Build your life on Jesus and you will stand strong in the face of troubles. When that wind, the storms of life hit you, you've got Jesus to hold you up. That's a pretty good blessing. All right, so do me a favor. Open your Bibles. There are apps. You can read them online. You may have a physical copy. Open your Bible, start reading. Matthew's a great place. All right, I hope this was helpful. If so, please like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.